Hello out there. This is Per Larson again with an update to my 2015 layout presentation. This was the last aisle that was still unfinished, and now it's all done. I actually finished all the scenery, so let's take a walk through. So we'll start here where we left off in the first presentation here at a Coleman transloading facility. That was the end of the scenic part. So now we'll be moving along the track. The end of Coleman siding right here, beginning the residential neighborhood. I try to make a fountain here at Summerhill Estates at the entrance, but I couldn't make the fountains look right, so they're turned off today for maintenance. Coming up to the Texas town of Livingston. Here's the fire station in Livingston. That is as close to the real thing as I could make it. Of course, I had to make a couple of things a little smaller to fit the footprint, but it's pretty much the one that's in Livingston. In front of the fire station sits the Polk County Courthouse. I had to scratch build that. It's now available as a kit from my website if anybody should be interested. This is US 190, and the reason why I modeled Livingston here is because I thought it was cool the way the railroad comes through town. It comes here, cuts off a corner of the courthouse lot and crosses the highway almost in the middle of a street intersection too. And then it snakes its way down between the buildings. It's very close between the buildings. So I thought that was pretty cool to model. I had to scratch build the buildings around here to make the scene look right. That green building in the corner is a scratch built, as well as the city offices right here in the red building with a green roof, and that little building there right in the small piece of land between the street and the track was a Hewitt Jackson tax office, but now it's empty. And this row of stores here is scratch built. The traffic light is also scratch built from evergreen tubes. And here are some photos of the prototype scenes. Here's the First State Bank. It's also available as a kit It has some mirror glass on the top floor, parking underneath it. Moving out of Livingston, we'll follow the railroad along the highway. And here's the Trinity River crossing. He even found an alligator to sit on that log in there. The railroad turns over the highway. Highway continues. This is Texas oil country. These are Walther's oil pumps. They do work, but they make a lot of noise, so I usually don't turn them on. Coming up to Smithville Junction. Here's where the line to Houston splits. It goes straight here and continues under the overpass. And this line here right close to us is the Freeport sub. That's a branch line. And it comes down through the small town of LaGrange, Texas. This radio tower I found at a train show in Houston 5 or 6 years ago. Some Mexican guy had it built in Mexico. It's etched brass. It was all assembled and wired and everything ready to be installed. But his website disappeared again, so I think he probably folded. Here's an aerial shot of LaGrange. I chose to model that because the prototype has 9 blocks of street running, where the railroad line goes down through the middle of Lafayette Street. This is a ex-MKT railroad that's now UP. The Carl's Jr. there is available as a kit, and the Conoco station back there is a modified version of the Arco gas station I sell. I changed the sign, the street sign and the building signs, because there's no Arcos in Texas. And don't ask me about the McDonald's there in the background, because that's a model that's designed by Pelle Soborg for his first Daneville layout. And since I cut the buildings for him, I had the cut file, so I built one for myself. But McDonald's is very, very protective of their brand, so I'm not going to do that without permission, and it's pretty much impossible to get that permission. And here's the old MKT depot. That is a kit that's available on my website too. It's a laser cut in micro plywood. Comes with everything you see on it except the fence around it. And in the real LaGrange, there's a small little gazebo sitting there on the corner behind the depot. So I had to make that as well. That's also available as a kit. It's a laser cut plywood. And here we have the Pizza Hut. And the courthouse square. The backdrop picture for this scene is actually this street in LaGrange, Texas. Continuing out of town, here's a old abandoned grain elevator. Crosses under the highway. Makes a turn and disappears back under the highway again. The coal trains you see coming through town go to and from the Fayette Power Project, which is on the backdrop. It's a big power plant. It sees 4 coal trains a day. And that's about it. The layout is done. When I said the layout was finished, it's not quite true, because even with 18 staging tracks, I found myself running out of staging space. And we were considering how to extend that. And my good friend Garth came up with the idea. He said, hey, how about that peninsula? Ain't nothing under that, so can't we put one in there? And it's actually long enough that it'll hold a staging yard and a reverse loop. The problem is to get it up there after everything's installed, so that's going to be quite a challenge. But all the wood pieces are cut, and the tracks are getting mounted on some of the boards. Have to move some legs here, but that's pretty doable. It'll take 3 or 4 guys to get it up once it's assembled. We'll probably try to get it up in 1 or 2 pieces, so we don't have to make many joints while in an awkward position. Everything here in the yard ladder end is wired up with frog juicers, and there's some infrared detectors that'll stop the trains when they come to the end of the track. And here's the curve coming and connecting to the rest of the staging. That fascia will have to, I've cut it in half horizontally, so the lower half will have to come out about 4 inches to make room for that access track for staging 4. So, but I'll probably make a couple of videos about the progress of that so you can keep up.